live on the Fall River Experience Facebook page and the Fall River Experience YouTube channel. Make sure you like and follow the page, turn on notifications. Plus, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Fall River Experience, for everything Fall River. You already know. Turn on notifications. Now, I start and end every episode with soup kitchen, food pantry, childcare, emergency care services, all that good shit. If you, a friend, family member, need any of these resources, utilize them. That's what they're there for. Also, please share this out to your newsfeed, groups, like pages, your Facebook story. Tag people in a post, tag people in the comments. It is highly appreciated. Let's get this show up to 200 shares. That's what we average. Let's hit 200. All right. Now, with that being said, if you are a small business owner, a local artist, or musician, you want to get your product or services promoted, contact me for sponsorship packages starting as little as $10 per episode. And packages include and vary, but graphic design work, flyer design, video editing, voiceovers, podcasts, interviews, custom merchandise, and more. So make sure you're on that. All right? Because that's what we need. Now, let me see. Before I pull up the weather that I always do, let me see what else I got over here. Actually, the video for the weather has not popped up yet, so hold on, people. I will get that. You know what I mean? Shit. Relax. But hopefully everybody's having a good day, doing what they need to do. But, yeah. Actually, I'm not going to get the weather up first. I'm going to get this video up first. It's from your boy Loco. Brand new video drop on your boy Loco TV. It is about the $8 million lights on the Braga. So make sure you go to your boy Loco TV for the full video. But I'm about to play nice little clip right here from your boy Loco TV. Check this out. We'll talk about it.
Whoa! How'd that get there? Fall River? Braga Bridge? $8 million? Massachusetts spends $8 million on some blue lights? Okay, Fall River, we lit now. But not all of Fall River's so lit. I'm gonna show you a couple of spots not so lit. Bitch, I'm a
Subscribe and like and subscribe, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Look familiar? Nope, it's not a UFO. 1 block away from the Braga Bridge, Fall River streetlights, aka strobe lights. Well, this intersection is pretty lit. Corner of John and Morgan, a block away from last year's double homicide. But 5 feet in that direction, you could kill somebody and get away with it easily. Not so lit. And what about the Flint? They said the Flint is dead. Let's bring the Flint back. Flint Street, though, not so much. Not so lit. Well, at least the corner of Melville and Hamlet's pretty lit up. This corner sees a lot of illegal action. Or is it? Not so lit. At the corner of Hargraves and Quarry,
outside the Rubin Street projects. Pretty lit. Or is it? Not so lit. The wonderful, the great, the amazing rail trail. Come down, have a jog. Just don't do it at night. Not so lit. Obviously the main roads are gonna be more important to light up, right? Like Brayton Ave. Not so lit. How about the city's parks? Right next to the projects. Not so lit. In the park, where the double homicide happened. Vigil candles, still here. The entire park, not so lit. Oh, but wait. Am I seeing God? Nope. Where the camera is, the one camera in the park. I guess that's lit. Everything else, not so lit. Is it just me, or is the busiest street in the city not so lit? Mind you, I'm driving really late at night, but as soon as the sun goes down, you can't see a thing. So if your dog Bingo, Fido, or Smokey the cat runs in the road, I'm probably gonna run it over. Fall River, Plymouth Ave, not so lit. All right. I think you get the idea. Wait, what? What'd you say? You can't see me? Oh, hang on a second. Can you see me now? It's like this on every street. Fall River, not so lit. But sure, Braga Bridge, blue lights. Fall River, we lit.
So anyway, a lot of people complaining. I don't know, I kind of like it. $8 million, I don't know, how much does it cost for a blue light bulb nowadays? But the people out there hating, we're making progress. Instead of yapping and yapping and yapping, get out in your neighborhood and do something. Be progressive. Not a pain in the ass. Boy Loco. I'm out of here.
Alright, so that was your boy Loco from your boy Loco TV. Type in Massachusetts spends $8 million on the Braga Bridge. Go check that out on YouTube. Make sure you like and comment on that video. Now we can get to the news and then I'll get to the comments, people. But is today going to be better than yesterday? Check this out. We'll talk about it.
Now, here's your Pinpoint Weather 12 forecast.
Good morning, everybody. We are seeing a little bit of a mix or a different combination of conditions right now across our area. This is a look out towards Newport. You can see the dense fog really thickening and continue to develop from this point of view. Meanwhile, we look out from our Kettle Point camera, which is normally pointed towards Providence. Beautiful clear skies, great visibility, and you can see that nice sunrise that we're dealing with. No clouds overhead, so it's really location dependent. Across our entire area, though, there is a dense fog advisory. This goes through to about 8 a.m. this morning. We're expecting the fog to continue to thicken and kind of move a little bit further to some of those areas that are currently clear. So if you're not seeing that fog just yet, you might be dealing with it over the next couple of hours. For our threat tracker, we are low to moderate this morning because of that fog. Middle part of the day, though, completely different story. It's actually going to be a very nice afternoon. Temperatures in the 70s with some sunshine. And then later on tonight, we go back into the yellow just briefly. We're tracking the chance for a couple of thunderstorms kind of moving onshore. Really just a small chance, and some of those storms might be a little on the stronger side, some pretty strong wind gust and a quick downpour. But really a lot of that activity is expected to stay a bit further to the south than what we were anticipating yesterday morning. Satellite and radar again Aside from the fog, actually beautiful clear skies out there, so we are already starting to see some sunshine in a couple of areas. The warm front that's moving towards our region, that'll move through overnight tonight. This is the cluster of shower activity that's going to be moving past our area overnight tonight, causing that chance for showers. As you can see, still a way out for now. Temperatures right now are in the 50s. As we look forward to this afternoon, we're going to warm back up into the 70s. Normal daytime high for this time of year, 70 degrees. We're going to be a little bit warmer than that. So yesterday we were below average. Today, though, we're going to start to warm up, and we're going to continue to warm up. We have a heat advisory for areas away from the coast. It starts tomorrow morning and goes all the way through till 8 o'clock Sunday night. We're going to see those temperatures up into the 80s, and with a lot of humidity, it'll be feeling even warmer. So like I said, we're tracking that cluster of showers. It's still kind of out towards West Virginia right now. It's going to kind of cruise almost due east later throughout the second half of the day today, and then by overnight tonight, it's sitting just to the south of our region. A few of those showers that do kind of move on shore overnight, though, could be strong at times. So if you're living a little bit closer to the coast or southeastern Mass or the Cape, do keep in mind you are a little bit more prone to some of that shower activity today. Most of the area stays dry, though. Tomorrow starts off foggy and cloudy, but once we see all that clear out, that's when those temperatures really start to skyrocket. Again, 80s and 90s inland. Along the coast, just slightly cooler in the 70s, but still with the humidity, it'll be feeling oppressive and kind of stifling throughout the entire weekend, both Saturday and Sunday. Going to be hot, hazy. Even when the clouds really clear out, you're still going to be dealing with a little bit of that filtered sunshine, so it's not going to be beautiful out there. It's going to be feeling almost more like August, and then later this week, we kind of moderate and cool down just a bit back into the 70s with some sunshine to start the week. You can head over to WPRI.com. We've got that full 7-day forecast. You can check it out anytime you like. And
all right, so today will be 75 degrees. Thank God it's Friday. Tomorrow and Sunday, however, will be 15 degrees hotter. It'll be 90 fucking degrees. So if you don't got your ACs in yet, put your air conditioners in. You're going to need them for tomorrow and Sunday. Oh, man. Now let me get to these comments. Shouts to Motor Cop Chronicles podcast. Says, share it out. Good morning, Motor Cop. Thanks for the share. Jose Santiago says, good morning, Fall River. I got you with the shares, bro. Appreciate you, Jose. Good morning as well. Rizzo from the Loco Rizzo show just covered my whole face with a paragraph. Says, good morning, Fall River. You know, if you ain't on this show, you better ask somebody about this show. And another thing, if you're home tomorrow and you're bored, come on down for the event. Big things going on at Kennedy Park tomorrow. So like I said, if you're bored and you're at home, come on down. Car shows, BMX biking, breakdancing. We're going to stop there. Just come on down and check it out. Kennedy Park, you dig? Yep, make sure you go check out Kennedy Park. We're going to have a bunch of stuff down there. Now, Rizzo also says, oh, and another thing, I will be signing autographs. So you want your Rizzo autograph? Fine. But you might not want Motor Cop Chronicles podcast's autograph. Says Rizzo, cool. I give out autographs 5 days a week. Just no one seems happy to get them. Yep. Now, my mother says, good morning, son. Good morning, mom. Share this out for me. I'd appreciate it. Now, Kim Texera Richardson says, dying. Living is better, but I get what you meant. Jose Santiago says, yo, I live right next to that park. Yep. Now, over here, let me get over here. Bang, bang. Motor Cop says the 80s are not extreme heat. We call that fall in the South. Well, yeah, damn. Now, my mother said that's what I was saying yesterday. $8 million for lights for the Braga Bridge, but the rest of the city in darkness. To me, that's stupid. Now, Motor Cop says, are the lights there and not working or been broken, or they just don't have lights there? A lot of the lights on those city streets are there. They're just broken or no longer working and need to be fixed. Now, Rizzo says $8 million on some lights. Ain't that some all of the way? We could have went down to the rail trail and the 70s had a couple of homeless people. We could have put them in an apartment, but instead we put lights on the bridge. True, we could have used $8 million to put people up somewhere, but we didn't. And it wasn't city money, though, so the state got to give it to what they budgeted for. So the state came down, was like, hey, we're going to throw lights on the bridge. They didn't come down, drive around. They just seen the bridge and was like, all right, lights on it. Put money for that. But we're going to get to state money in a little bit on this episode. Now, the wife says, share it out. Appreciate you, babe. Love you. Now, my mother says, Motor Cop, they have one street light on that a bunch of them are off for whatever reason. Like I said yesterday's show, a lot of people, when you light up their neighborhood, they complain because light's shining in their window, which is unfortunate because you want the streets lit up. But, you know, some people don't want that street light shining in their window, and they bitch to the city about it. So no matter what we do in Fall River, somebody going to complain. My mother also said they depend on business signs to light the area. For the most part, in most places. Rizzo says $8 million on some lights on the bridges, so they're going to go down to the rail trail and helping a couple of homeless people. Yeah, they could have done that, but they didn't. Now, let me get to some whole other shit. I just want to get this out the way. Check this out. This is some good news, people. Check it out. We'll talk about it.
Of course, Duke and Ed are right there on the floor. This is what we're talking about.
Well, Eric and Maria, I'm going to be honest with you. The Celtics should be going home with a 2-game lead in this series. If not for that horrible third quarter the other day, they'd be up 2-0. They were the best basketball team on the floor tonight. They might have been the basketball team, best one on the planet tonight.
You know, look at the impact Marcus Smart made. I mean, you and I watched the game together on both ends of the floor. I mean, 12 assists, 1 turnover.
1 turnover.
Against a great defensive team.
Turnover.
He had 24 points, 9 rebounds. I mean, he just makes such a difference. We saw him directing traffic there on defense and taking Jimmy Butler one-on-one at times, too, which is not easy to do.
So if you've got Al Horford and Marcus Smart back in the lineup tonight, that equals a 25-point win, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I mean, you look at the halftime score. You know, Celtics were up by 25 at the half. I believe 70 points in a half is the most they've scored on the road in a postseason game since 1990.
Right, and their defense was spectacular, led by the defensive player of the year in Marcus Smart. 45 points at the half. Miami did barely hit triple digits in the end, but that was in garbage time. This was the best basketball team on the floor tonight, and in the 8 quarters in this series, they only lost 1, and that's why the series is tied at 1-1.
And we talked about how resilient this team is going into this game. They were 10-1 since January 21st after losses. You know, the mental toughness they showed and the way to bounce back. And they didn't know who was going to be in the lineup going into today's game. I think they had a better idea a couple hours before the game. You know, Derek White was back home. He and his wife had a baby. Marcus Smart was a game-time decision. Al Horford didn't get cleared until about 2:45. So this showed a lot of mental toughness and physical toughness as well.
So here we are. Keep this in mind. It's now at least a 5-game series. The next 2 games are in Boston, Saturday and Sunday.
On Channel 5.
You'll see them live on Channel 5. We're here on the floor. The party has started in Miami for Celtics fans. Maria and Erica, back to you.
All right, Ed, Duke, and because Ed just said it, I need to repeat it. After tonight, games 3 and 4 will be here in Boston. You will see them only here on WCVB Channel 5. Special coverage begins 7:30 p.m. this Saturday and Monday.
All right, so tomorrow, game 3, Celtics tied it up, 1 game apiece. Get to these comments. Now, bang. My mother talking about the light shining in people's windows. She said use shades. Now, Jose Santiago says, let's go green. My mother says, yeah, Celtics. You already know. So I started off with some good news. Now I got to quickly do some bad news. Only 32 seconds, people. Relax. Check it out. We'll talk about it.
We just got this into the newsroom, the latest COVID numbers from the state, and a pretty big jump in cases compared to yesterday, almost 5,000. We also recorded 14 more deaths, and we can tell you that 277 people are in the hospital right now because of a COVID-related illness. And we're not the only ones seeing trends like this. COVID cases are rising all across the country. So the CDC tonight is now recommending people wear masks in more areas. The CDC considers all but 3 counties in Massachusetts to be at high risk of COVID transmission.
All right, so high risk COVID transmission. CDC is talking about mask mandates again. But if you do got the corona, you can take something called Paxlovid. Yeah, Paxlovid is for COVID. Check it out. We'll talk about it.
And many people are treating COVID-19 with a medication you can get at a pharmacy. 22 News reporter Alana Flood spoke to a physician at Bay State Medical Center about how this drug works.
Yes, Ciara, this drug, Paxlovid, is not yet authorized by the FDA, but it's not yet approved by the FDA, but it is authorized. Paxlovid is a drug that is readily available by prescription. It essentially works by blocking the virus from replicating. And right now, the drug is recommended for those with at least one pre-existing condition and who have mild to moderate COVID-19, and within 5 days of the start of symptoms. So far, it has proven to be an effective form of treatment.
The clinical trials support its effectiveness in terms of preventing hospitalization and death. We're talking about 80 to 90% in general for this drug, as well as the other drug that are also available to treat mild to moderate infection.
Dr. Paez said if you think you are a candidate and talk to your doctor about this drug, it is crucial to share all your medication, even over-the-counter and herbal, because it can interact with other medications. The important takeaway here is don't wait to get tested. Otherwise, you'll miss the 5-day window in which Paxlovid can be administered. Working for you, Alana Flood, 22 News.
All right, so Paxlovid, first 5 days of being positive with COVID, you can take Paxlovid. Yeah. Now, this is Mental Health Awareness Month. I talk about mental health all the time. Kindergarten to senior year, mental health classes. People don't listen, but what do I know? I'm just a kid from Fall River. Now, let's hear how mental health is affecting kids and teenagers here in Massachusetts. Check this out. We'll talk about it.
A demand for inpatient mental health treatment is at an all-time high, especially for kids.
Kids in crisis often end up waiting for a day or weeks in emergency rooms, a practice called boarding, which has increased by up to 400% over the last 2 years.
So why aren't kids able to get the help that they need when they need it? Our chief investigator, Cheryl Fiandaca, went looking for answers.
She's an athletic, sports-loving teenager who's also struggling with mental health issues.
That's the door that was kicked in.
Recently, after becoming angry and frustrated, she kicked a hole in a wall at home.
You just white-knuckle it until you can't white-knuckle it anymore, and then that's when you go to the emergency department.
Her mom, desperate, brought her to a Plymouth hospital to get help. Instead, she sat in the emergency room for more than 5 weeks, waiting for an inpatient placement.
For lack of a better comparison, it's basically like being in jail. When I go visit her, sometimes she says she's just staring at a wall because there's nothing else to do.
Waiting for mental health services in emergency rooms is called boarding. The I-Team found kids sitting in ERs for weeks or months for a bed to become available in a program.
And this is a chihuahua.
Last May, the I-Team introduced you to this 10-year-old who has behavioral and mental health challenges. He sat for weeks in an emergency room before he was able to get into a program.
For me, having to watch the hospital police department have to respond and put him into 4-point restraints. He's not even sleeping in a real hospital bed. They call it a posy, where it's like an upside-down playpen on a bed that he can't open.
Even before the pandemic, the demand for mental health services for kids was on the rise. In December of 2019, there were 33 referrals for inpatient treatment. 2 years later, in December of 2021, that number jumped to 226.
Do you think kids are getting the help they need right now?
They're not. We are failing our children. It's not that we're not doing nothing, because we've been investing millions, but we need to do more.
The state says it has increased services for children and added hundreds of inpatient beds for kids. But the I-Team has learned many of those beds are not being used. Of the 444 licensed psychiatric beds in Massachusetts, 89 are offline because of lack of staffing.
Good job. It's heartbreaking, and from her perspective, she thinks that I'm not doing anything. And I don't blame her. And she says, you know, it's awful in here. And I say, I know. And she says, I couldn't possibly know. And she's right.
With help from the I-Team and Representative Decker, that woman's daughter is now in a program. Right now, there are a number of bills stalled in the legislature that could help address the mental health crisis. The Baker administration tells us it is working with the hospitals to increase capacity and has committed tens of millions of funding for psychiatric care.
All right, so people, this is a problem nationwide. Mental health. Motor Cop in the comments says, unfortunately, mental health is underfunded and undertreated in the entire country. I agree fully. Motor Cop also says the hospital just puts these people on the streets and law enforcement has to deal with them. And unfortunately, does not end well sometimes. True. I believe that there needs to be mental health classes, kindergarten to senior year. I believe that anybody who's dealing with the public, whether cop or a retail worker, should have some type of training in mental health where they can recognize a mental health episode. But to find out what's going on, we need to talk to people. You know, you talk about your problems. If you got problems, talk about it to somebody. If you feel like your kids might have an issue, talk about it. Talk to them and see what's wrong. If you don't know how to talk to them to see what's wrong, check this out. We'll talk about it.
30% of teenagers at some point have thought about suicide, have thought about harming themselves. Is that true? And what should parents be on the lookout for?
It is true, and it is alarming too. And we don't know, we haven't been keeping track of this for that long, whether or not this is a huge increase or something that adolescents have always struggled with. Regardless, it is something that we need to pay attention to and something that you can talk with your child about. We are often very uncomfortable talking about death in general, let alone death by suicide. But if you are really concerned that your child just isn't quite right and you have this gut feeling that I'm really worried about my child, it's okay to ask about that. It's okay to say, do you ever feel so bad that you feel like harming yourself? Do you ever feel like life isn't worth living right now? Or do you ever feel like, what's the use? Those sorts of questions can really open up a dialogue with a child, and it can really feel relieving to them sometimes to know that, oh, I'm being listened to. My behaviors, my mood, the changes that I've had are actually being listened to by the adults in my life. For kids, sometimes it can be even difficult to figure out what is it. But we know to key into the fact that when kids are struggling, when they're unhappy, when they're irritable, when they're confrontational a lot, that is usually a symptom that they are having some sort of mental health problem.
Another important thing for parents to realize is even if your child didn't seem to be struggling during the pandemic, there might be sort of a delayed response. Is that right?
Yeah, in fact, we should expect it. That we know that when kids go through trauma, that it's often much later that they start to experience the effects of trauma. And a year later or 6 months later is when they start to struggle with feelings of anxiety.
So people, talk to your kids. According to that lady who is a skilled professional in this, 30% of teenagers have had suicidal thoughts. You know, my teenage years, I had a lot of suicidal thoughts, but I'm better now because I'm in counseling. So people, if you feel some sort of way, talk to somebody. Erase the stigma on it. Now, Sherry Cadero, good morning to you. Sherry says, I agree. Shared to groups, shared to friends. Thank you, Sherry. I appreciate you. Motor Cop says, turn everything off and start having family supper and real conversations as a family and listen to what the kids are saying. True. I mean, at least a good family meal or at least a conversation like, hey, you go pick the kid up from school. What's going on? How was your day? What was the fuck shit for the day? You know what I mean? Was there bullying today? What happened? I mean, what was the gossip and how you feel about it? You know what I'm saying? Now, that was that. But I got some good stuff. Now, we're going bad, good, bad, good. There's a lot of news, a lot of good shit. But I got some highlights from the We Hot Fall River event that just recently transpired. Check this out. We'll talk about it. Here's the event over here outside of City Hall. Multiple vendors, local small business owners. Look at all the local people doing what they do. Little Lambs. River Rocks was there in attendance. Shouts to River Rocks. They paint rocks and drop it off to put a smile on the kid's face. You got the Maribel from Encanto. We don't talk about Bruno. We got the kids jumping around on the dance floor. For Public Library was there. Bunch of that, sprays and candles. Good stuff. Look at this cotton candy. A fat kid that looks delicious. Now, all of this. Look at that. You got dances and stuff. You got like kid dance squad, paintings, the old Volkswagen bus. Bunch of art. They shut the city down. Well, not the city. They shut the street down for this event. So, good, positive. That's soap, not fudge, as the sign said. That was on Old 2nd Street, across from the courthouse and City Hall, the street that connects both of them. This going on. Police were in attendance. Blowing bubbles. More dancing. More dancing. More dancing. Clothes that you can buy. Signage. Arts and crafts for the kids. Got break dances there in attendance. Oh, bust and move. Oh, bust, yeah. See, he did it. Bunch of stuff going on over there. Look at that guy on the wheelchair. Threw his legs up in the air. That was gangster. The guy in the wheelchair threw his legs up in the air. Awesome. That's some real Four Rivers shit. Now, got a lot going on in the city. So, check that out. And like Rizzo said, there's an event this Saturday at Kennedy Park. At the same time, there's the block party on Rock Street. And at the same time, the Fall River Public Library at 104 North Main has Comic Con. So the block party on 45 Rock Street by the CD Rec building, the old Fall River Courthouse on 45 Rock Street. There will be block party for the kids, DJ there, free food, free arts and crafts. I believe that's from like 10 to 2. Down at Fall River Public Library, 12 to 2, I believe it is. You have the Comic Con, so if you're into comic books and superheroes and all that, go check that out at the library. Another free event. Or like Rizzo said, you can go down to Kennedy Park, go check out the vintage car and bike show. There's going to be music there, food, break dancing, and all these classic vintage things on wheels, cars, trucks, bikes, all of that. You might even see a wagon. Now, in the comments, we got Flea, Shared Out Rider, ROD. I appreciate you, Flea. Good looking out. Motor Cop says Gramps got moves. He definitely does. Grandpa had moves like Jagger. Sherry Cadero says whites tonight, 80s and 90s. There you go. Seth Duvall says, I'm in the house. Sharing now. I appreciate you, Seth. Good looking out. Now, my godmother says the guy in the scooter is Crazy Eddie. Well, yes. Shouts to Crazy Eddie. Grandpa got moves like Jagger. Now, one more quick clip on some positive shit, then I got to get to some fucked up shit. It is 2022, and fucking fucked up shit happens. Check this out, though. This one's positive. Check it out. We'll talk about it.
New this morning, 4 fishermen safe after their boat capsized off Cape Cod yesterday.
Mayday, mayday. This is F. Angelo and Mary. 2 miles north of Race Point. Mayday, mayday.
You can hear the panic in their voice. The crew of a nearby towboat heard that call for help, got to the scene first. The 4 fishermen clinging to an emergency raft. They were all okay, but their boat upside down and sinking. When the boat started to take on water, crew members say they just could not move fast enough to open the hatches to figure out what was going on because of the lobster gear they had on deck. The boat was then towed to Provincetown.
Oh, so see, hey, Good Samaritan rescues the boaters. Well, that sucks. That really fucking sucks. But hey, at least they are safe. Now, this person, a former nanny, pleads guilty to some foul shit. What did this former nanny plead guilty to? I don't even want to say it. Check it out. We'll talk about it.
Antoinette, good afternoon. Just a few hours ago here at Suffolk Superior Court, that former nanny changed her plea, so she has now pleaded guilty to all charges against her, and she is heading to prison. That former nanny is Stephanie Lack from Roxbury. She was arrested in 2021, and as we previously reported, she was charged with possession of child sexual abuse materials. Now, according to court documents, investigators discovered evidence that Lack had discussed sex acts to perform on a baby. Again, she has now pleaded guilty, and the judge sentenced her to 3 years of incarceration to be followed by supervised release. In addition to all of that, she will not be allowed to work with children when she is eventually released from prison. Reporting live at Suffolk Superior Court, Todd Kiskiewicz, WCVB News Center 5.
Fucking horrible. Sick fucking bitch. What the fuck? At least she pled guilty and she ain't trying to fight shit, you know what I mean? Now, next video, I'm running through a lot. We got so much to talk about today. Check this out, and then I'll get back to the comments.
Well, new approach to treating a common injury that can be devastating for athletes is being tested out right here in Rhode Island.
Lifespan Orthopedics Institute is helping test a new way to treat a ruptured ACL using what's called a biological implant. New at 5, 12 News reporter Alexandra Leslie spoke with an orthopedic surgeon and local research scientists behind the procedure. Alex?
Well, Shannon and Kim, ACL repair surgery comes with a lot of challenges, including recovery of up to a year and the possibility of developing osteoarthritis. Now, Lifespan is one of 6 U.S. clinical trial sites to see if a less invasive procedure can be more beneficial than a traditional ACL reconstruction. ACL injuries can affect around 400,000 Americans a year. Orthopedic surgeon Dr. Brett Owen says he's seen them occur in people of all ages with various activity levels, though it's especially common in young athletes.
So unfortunately, we can see recurrent injuries, especially when high activity athletes get back to their previous level of activity.
Owen says that's in part why researchers wanted to find out why the ACL doesn't heal on its own. The work started with a doctor at Boston Children's Hospital in the late 90s before collaborating with Rhode Island Hospital and Brown University for preclinical studies. Human studies then began testing the bridge-enhanced ACL restoration, or BARE implant, against the standard of care.
It looked like that the ACL restored knees were at least as equivalent to the reconstructed knees.
The BARE implant is a collagen sponge that is extracellular matrix that gets populated with the patient's own blood and allows a bridging of the ACL back to its native footprint.
Doctors say the implant allows the tendon inside the knee to heal itself and avoids the need for a graft from somewhere else on the patient, a painful part of a typical ACL reconstruction surgery.
You're not just recovering from the reconstruction, you're also recovering from the harvest of the graft. And that's one thing that the BARE procedure touts and is an advantage.
So the Bear Moon trial was initiated last September, and it's still accepting patients anywhere from 18 to 55 years old who've had a torn ACL within the last 50 days that qualify for surgery. Now, Lifespan-affiliated surgeons are performing this procedure at the University Orthopedics Kettle Point facility. We have more details on the trial and how you may be able to get involved posted on WPRI.com. I'm Alexandra Leslie, 12 News.
All right, so ACL might be a new way to fix that faster and safer and less painful. Just saying. Now, over here in the comments, got a lot. Let me go over here. Nice Luciano says, good morning, forever. Robin Williams voice. What up, brother? I appreciate you tuning in. Share this out for me. Now, Flea said fucking scum, talking about that chick, the nanny, who was sexual with babies. Sick fuck. Sherry says, scumbag, I can't believe a woman would do this. You would be surprised on how fucking sick some women are with children. You would be surprised. Now, Motorcop says prison is too good for child predators. I agree, Motorcop, to the fullest. Seth says, what the fuck, and people mad at me for being an addict? Hey, people are mad at everything. Look at, we played a video about the blue lights on the bridge, and everybody got mad about it. I like it, but dude got a point. We could have spent $8 million somewhere else. But being an addict, Seth, there's always help out there. Just got to keep your nose clean and do what you got to do, brother. Stay focused and motivated. Nah, Jose Santiago said, piece of shit. My mother says, hope she has fun in jail. Motorcop says, hopefully karma finds her in prison. I agree. Now, Sherry Cadero says, not in this group, honey, we don't judge. My mother says she needs more than 3 years. I agree. Seth says, okay, I'm saying like my family treats me like I'm worse than people like that. We have so much fun with them piece of shit in jail, for real. Nah, I hear you, Seth. I mean, family hates the most and family loves the hardest. Look at it like that. Family loves the hardest, but family hates the most. The reason why family hates the most is because they love the hardest. It's a very deep quote, and just ponder on it. Sherry Cadero says, good morning, Sherry. Seth says, and 3 years of mine, you want to do something sexual with a fucking infant baby. Like, what the fuck is wrong with that? I hear you. Flea says, everyone like, share, comment, and follow. Word, let's get these shares up there. Nice says, just shared it. Word, thank you. Sherry says, it won't. They do nothing to child protectors. And MCI Framingham, there's not even a PC unit. Yeah, they don't care. Seth says, I'm doing great right now, by the way, guys, so don't worry. Good shit, Seth. Glad to hear that. Now, I'm going to get to this next video. I don't even know how to... Just check it out. We'll talk about it.
A stunning report today shedding new light on that deadly plane crash in China. The Wall Street Journal report suggests that someone may have entered the cockpit and intentionally crashed that plane 2 months ago. 132 people died. NBC News foreign correspondent Janice Mackey-Frere has the new findings from Beijing.
It's been nearly 2 months since China Eastern Flight 5735 crashed into a mountain in southern China, killing everyone on board. Now, new reporting is stirring discussion about a theory that's been circulating among American aviation experts for weeks, that someone inside the cockpit of the Boeing 737-800 may have intentionally pushed the plane into a nosedive. The Wall Street Journal reports that sources familiar with a U.S. preliminary assessment and the contents of the flight's black boxes say data are leading investigators to believe the crash may have been deliberate. The report says that the cockpit controls were set to a fatal plunge from 29,000 feet. Aviation experts tell NBC News that there were also no distress calls to air traffic control and no response to calls from controllers. Now, officials here in China have been tight-lipped about the cause of the crash and exactly what was said on the cockpit voice recorder. Today, they didn't officially deny these reports, but they did say the investigation is still far from over and that they are following international protocols. Now,
all right, so plane, we talked about it briefly 2 months ago when it happened. Plane crash in China. Everybody died. Now they're saying that this shit might have been intentional and somebody might have just went in there and crashed this shit. Before they were like, nah, it's an accident. Man, that's some 9/11 Twin Towers shit. Was they aiming at for somewhere? Does China think that we involved because of what's going on? I don't know. But let me get to some other shit that's been in the news lately. Check this out. We'll talk about it.
Handcuffed and flanked by officers, the Buffalo shooting suspect in court today for the second time since he allegedly gunned down 10 people. All were black. A grand jury indicting the 18-year-old on first-degree murder as the Justice Department is investigating the shooting spree as a hate crime and racially motivated violent extremism. Wearing an orange jumpsuit, the accused killer kept quiet before a crowded courtroom, including victims' families. Emotions spilling over as the suspect, who's pleaded not guilty, was escorted out.
Hey, you're a coward.
In the room, Bishop Glenwood Young, who lost his sister-in-law, Pearl.
What was it like being just a matter of feet from this accused killer?
It was so tense inside the courtroom. It was an eerie feeling to see this person walk in that had caused this traumatic thing to happen in the community. The damages have already been done. These people will be hurting for the rest of their lives. I know.
So, the racist dude that shot up the black supermarket in Buffalo, killing all those people just because they was black, going to jail, obviously. Now, rest of his life, people feel like he will be a target. He will, but he also will be protected and unfortunately admired by people who feel the same. I mean, Aryan Brotherhood, Peckerwoods, hooligans, CWB. They're going to idolize this guy. Hey, maybe that's what he wanted. Now, Sherry Cadero says he should be a target. Fleet says, bitch ass, shake my head. Now, Fleet said they will protect him because he's white. Shake my head. Well, the white supremacists will protect him because he's white. Now, on some other shit, check this out. We'll talk about it.
It's horrible. I mean, it's absolutely devastating for so many of our moms, so many families. It causes, it's crisis.
A nationwide baby formula shortage is devastating for many families.
They are in this space of, can I feed my family? And that is very, very scary. That is a shock to the system. We see a lot of trauma symptoms happening, a PTSD kind of response to this fear of, can I feed my family?
That's why Honey, a Space for Moms in Ferndale, is offering a formula swap. People can donate formula or pick some up for free. Every day they put up an image of what they have in stock on social media.
Being able to feed your baby is just an issue that is just core to so many families well-being, and we are taking this issue incredibly seriously.
That's the Deputy Assistant to the President on Health and Veterans Affairs. The Biden administration is taking a lot of heat for not proactively managing this issue, when Abbott, which controls close to 50% of the baby formula market, decided to recall most of its popular products, closing a plant here in Michigan.
We know that the facility that closed in Michigan, that's really the root cause of our current challenges.
President Biden invoked the Defense Production Act to address the nationwide baby formula shortage and directed his administration to use Defense Department aircraft to pick up formula from overseas that meets U.S. health and safety standards.
Can you identify a timeline for when this problem might be ameliorated?
We are going to keep working around the clock to take the steps that we can to get more formula to U.S. shelves. There are hopeful signs, and there has been a lot of action in recent days. And as we work through this day by day, we're going to be doing everything we can to get more product onto U.S. shelves.
Hillary Golston, Fox 2 News.
Damn. And the overseas where we getting all this new baby formula is from China, because you know everything's made in China. Now, hey, this is super fucked up. But the Defense Act is going to try to push that forward a little bit more. Now, quickly, Biden, and then we're going to get by this motherfucker. Check this out. We'll talk about it. Biden taking his first trip to Asia. President will spend 5 days visiting Japan and South Korea.
President Biden will meet with the newly inaugurated Korean president, President Yoon, who campaigned on the platform of strengthening the U.S.-ROK alliance and on improving relations between the ROK and Japan.
The goal is to build a rapport with the two nations' leaders.
In Japan, President Biden will meet with Prime Minister Kishida and his team, and we believe that the U.S.-Japan alliance at this moment under these two leaders is at an all-time high. This visit can take us even higher.
President Biden will also meet with leaders of the Quad and Indo-Pacific Strategic Alliance. The alliance also includes Australia, Japan, and India.
President Biden won't just have a bilateral. He'll also have the opportunity to participate in the second in-person Quad Summit, following on the summit he hosted here in Washington last September.
President Biden's intention on his trip is to clarify the importance of the Indo-Pacific region for the U.S. diplomacy. So, Biden going right next door to North Korea. He going to South Korea. Kim Jong-un, the little midget motherfucker, the short guy. Sorry if midget offended anybody. Got to do that nowadays. But I wouldn't be going next door to North Korea right now. Nope, that guy be flying missiles all the time, talking about, I'm making one to reach you. Now you go next door where he can reach. Ah, man. I wouldn't do it. I would not do it, but hey, what do I know? I'm just a kid from forever, right? Now, next video. Check this out. We'll talk about it.
All day long, the WBZ team has been spotlighting Mental Health Action Day. Tonight, we're talking about high school students who are under more pressure than ever before. Paula Evans shows us why more administrators are talking about mental health days for our kids.
Family, friends, sports, kind of just mixed into one.
Hours of activities, homework, and cramming for tests. Sports practices and games. So you get the prom back? Yeah. And extracurricular activities. Many high school students keep grueling schedules.
Balancing them all sometimes can be way too much. I know
as I've seen with friends and myself, if you feel all this overwhelming stress, especially as a senior applying to college, doing all these extracurriculars, doing AP classes, it does get to be a lot, and I know a lot of kids experience something called burnout.
That's why these Taunton High School students support a bill that would allow excused absences for mental health days.
What do you think of that whole idea? I think it's honestly an amazing idea.
Up until now, to get an excused absence, if a student asks for a sick day, parents and students have to provide a doctor's note. This bill would account for 2 mental health days a year, no doctor's note required.
The bill is even more important now because our children have experienced the ravages of the pandemic, if you will, in terms of their education and their mental health needs.
This was an idea from before the pandemic, but the last few years, what have you seen in terms of student mental health?
We've seen definitely an uptick in mental health care issues. Anxiety from children is higher than I've seen before in my 26 years in education.
Principal Scott Holcomb disagrees with any critics of the bill who claim that students have already missed too much classroom time.
Because if you're anxious, it's more difficult to learn.
I believe it would also help them perform better in school.
All right. Mental Health Day. I'm all for it. 2 a year? 2 is bullshit. But you're going to have 2 bad days of school year? There's going to be 2 days that you're like super stressed? That's what you're telling me? 2? I think that, if your grades are doing good, your attendance is good, and all that, I believe that you should be able to earn mental health days. And same in the workforce. If we're talking mental health days, let's get it across the board, especially since we need to address mental health issues. Now, Sherry Cadero says definitely need more than 2 days. Motor Cop says it is 2 extra days, can't hurt. I agree. Now, next video right here, check this out. We'll talk about it. This is some good news if you're low income. You're going to want to hear this. You're going to want to tell your friends and family that are low income. So if you know low income people, tag them in the comments right now. Tell them that 106 at that timestamp, I'm playing this because money, 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 money. Check it out. We'll talk about it.
New tonight at 6, the Baker administration is distributing a second round of $500 checks to another 330,000 low-income essential workers all across Massachusetts. Eligibility will be based on 2021 Massachusetts tax returns. To qualify, workers had to have made at least $13,500 and seen their total income at or below 300% of the federal poverty level. For a household of 1 person, that level is around $38,000. For a family of 4, up to $79,000. You are not eligible if you have received a payment in the first round or if you received unemployment benefits in 2021.
All right, so those are like the eligibility qualifications. So check that out. Also, Baker said that we had a surplus of money over the budget in Massachusetts this year. So he's dispersing out money properly, in my opinion. Look at you giving all low income essential workers and this and that. Like, hey, if you didn't get money before, I got you now. Making sure everybody got a dose of money. Cool. You know what I mean? He's like, we got a lot of money, so I'm going to break bread with everybody. He doing dumb shit like putting lights on bridges. He's, you know what I mean? He just bought a brand new chain, brand new car. And he threw rims on it. You know? Now, this is some shit. Fall River, you know. Check this out. We'll talk about it.
This is 12 News Now. I'm Adriana Rosas Rivera. Fall River police are searching for a suspect involved in a shooting Wednesday night on Ridge Street. Police say that an argument broke out and 35-year-old Eric Espinal struck the victim with a firearm and shot twice at their car. Investigators then searched a first-floor apartment on Ridge Street where they believed Espinal was hiding, and then they found that he had fled before their arrival. Now, Espinal is wanted on multiple felonies, including armed assault with attempt to murder and carrying a firearm without a license. Anyone with information is urged to call the Fall River Police Department. We have more on the story on WPRI.com and 12 News. I'm Adriana Rosas Rivera, 12 News.
All right. So remember the video clip of the standoff with the cops where they was waiting outside the house for an hour? Well, that's the guy they was looking for. I mean, 2 shots hit a car. Lady got pistol whipped. They looking for him now. He's not looking too good right now, man. But on some other shit, check this out. We'll talk about it.
And Erica, Boston Public Schools say in the coming days they will have extra personnel, extra security out here. But there are still questions tonight about why those metal detectors were taken out and not put back. Boston police pulling up to Charlestown High School for the second time. Canines leading the way. They searched the school for weapons after a 13-year-old student with a gun was arrested. A second gun also found inside the school. A 17-year-old also charged.
He called me crying because he's scared, but something happened.
This mom says her 13-year-old daughter called her to say she has a class with one of the students who was arrested. She was waiting for answers.
He told me he's in the same class. I don't know.
A source confirms metal detectors were removed from the school. Students say they want them back.
They were taken out due to COVID rules since we had to be 6 feet.
They took the metal detectors off, and we never expected this to happen. So it was kind of surprising and scary.
It's the latest in a string of incidents raising concerns about safety at Boston Public Schools. Weeks ago, 3 students at different schools were attacked with Chromebooks by other students. Parents concerned police were not called, and concerns after a father flashed a gun outside a school during a fight. Police didn't learn about it, they say, for 2 hours. Earlier, the superintendent defended the schools.
Once we get a report, we report it as fast as possible to our BPD. Our school leaders obviously do some initial fact-finding and then...
All right, so we talking about issues over here at Fall River Public Schools. As soon as they took the metal detectors off over there, guns and shit. Now, you think those kids was going to shoot up the school? Probably not. Not in my opinion. They wouldn't have had it just sitting in a locker. They would have went in, did what they had to do, and then got arrested or killed themselves. But it's just getting a lot more violent out there. Guns are everywhere. And it's so easy to get. We as a society have made guns so easy to get. That's why there's guns in schools now. I keep telling people, incidences like this and incidences where we put people in positions of power and they abuse it, like all of the teachers that, have had allegations against them, all of the coaches, North Kingstown, Danvers, Westport, there was allegations at Cuss, all around the area. It's a trend. It's trending upwards fast. I keep saying the new Durfee and Diamond, a waste of money, in my opinion. The Durfee looks beautiful, but the purpose of that building will change because people ain't gonna want to send their kids to school. It's not safe, and no school shootings with a laptop. You put the people in person with the laptop, they get smacked with the Chromebook. Maybe you need more than 2 mental health days. Now, Flea says most will take advantage of it. Maybe it's why it's only 2 days. Even if you're trying to take advantage of a day off because it's a mental health day, hey, you need it for some reason. There was some reason in the morning you were like, not today. So you got to take that day to figure out what's wrong with you and address it. Now, Flea also says should have them screened to see who has mental health issues, then go from there. Yeah, that could help. Nelson D'Souza says, give money to those who will spend it, not hoard it. Hey, even if they hoard it, they're going to spend it eventually because they're hoarding it for a reason. They banking up their money. They're going to spend it on a big purchase. The bigger the purchase, the bigger the tax. So hoard it. You know what I mean? Budget better. But that's Nelson D'Souza from the Fall River Insider. Go check them out. Sherry Kadira says, died by Chromebook. Unbelievable. LOL. For real, you can't do that. I mean, just close the shit. You're good. Seth says, it's sad that dudes putting guns in kids' hands at that age and saying these kids just throwing their lives away. Yeah, I mean, it happens. And it's happening a lot more. Seth says, well, what a persona none of them will ever achieve. Yep. Sherry says, will that only be high school students? I don't know. Now, Seth also said, for supposed grown folk who say they care about them, sad. It's so easily believed when you ain't got anyone. Yeah, it is. Now, on some other shit, check this out. We'll talk about it.
The Massachusetts House met to debate Governor Baker's government operations bond bill. In it, a moratorium on building new prisons and jails. 22 News State House reporter Ellen Fleming explains what this means for our state.
The House debated today whether or not to stall all construction of correctional facilities for a 5-year span. The moratorium would prohibit any state or public agency from constructing a new correctional facility or from renovating any existing facility to expand inmate capacity. House lawmakers are hoping that funding could be used elsewhere.
There are really good things that we could get into our prisons to make sure that when people return to their communities, because most of our prisoners will in fact do that, that they have skills and training that will allow them to be successful and not return to incarceration. So I would really like to see the money put in very thoughtful programming.
Last year, the Baker administration was considering building a new women's prison in Norfolk to replace MCI Framingham, the oldest women's prison of its kind in the country. That project was estimated to cost upwards of $50 million. Working for you at the State House in Boston, Ellen Fleming, 22 News.
Well, in my opinion, this is great. For the next 5 years, don't build new jails and don't remodel to fit more people. Work on the recidivism and work on training people and giving people skills and helping cope with mental health and get treated for addiction before returning to the community. And make it like a jail/rehab center instead of strictly punishment. Because people do come home. It happens. Now, the next video I got up over here, talking about people in positions of power, abusing them. We look at our city council, kind of fucked up sometimes. Certain people ain't gonna throw their names out there. These people got power. But Holyoke got some issues with their city council like a motherfucker. This is fucking sick. Check this out. We'll talk about it.
But first, an update tonight on Holyoke City Councilor Wilmer Puelo Mota, who faces child pornography and forgery charges in Rhode Island. According to the Rhode Island Attorney General's office, Puelo Mota was extradited from Massachusetts after being arrested on May 11th for multiple charges out of Rhode Island. He was ordered held without bail after appearing in Kent County Superior Court in Warwick today. A pre-trial conference hearing is set for May 24th. 22 News is continuing to follow this story and will provide updates when available on air and online.
Sick fuck. I hate that shit. It just pisses me off. Now, about the prisons, Sherry Gadiro says, but it's so overcrowded, they should build. But the people that are there, it's hard to live, but I guess you're right. Seth says, coming home from Dartmouth is like coming back from the Stone Age. Flea says, more scum, piece of shit. Yeah, I agree. And now, next video, check it out. We'll talk about it.
Empowering youth to take charge of their lives by taking charge of a business.
More than shelving, more than reading, more than just a part-time job. This is more than words. A nook tucked into a block off the expressway in Boston's South End that is opening a chapter for youth who have been homeless or in the court system.
Shelf 8, Section E.
Youth like Louis, a 2-year worker and our tour guide for the day.
This has not been easy for you a lot of the time.
No, it hasn't. My mental health was just deteriorating just because of like everything that I was going through with like just being homeless and not knowing where I was going to sleep next.
More Than Words is a nonprofit run by 16 to 24-year-olds who sell books at their retail store that doubles as event space, but it's much more. An on-site warehouse that collects and tracks and catalogs 4 million donated books annually, plus clothing, and sells most of them online. Louis' interest in fashion growing that part of the operation.
I feel very proud because it's become such an essential part of the business now.
These youth are working on their lives while working for a living. And John DePina has an invaluable role in helping Louis and his other young colleagues with court advocacy and housing, where showing up and taking part are a huge piece of finding success for their future.
All right, people. Word, that's fucking dope. Hey, business owners in Fall River. Calling business owners in Fall River. Can we do some program like that? Google More Than Words. Figure out, how they do their formula. Bring some shit like that into the city for the youth that is here having an issue. More positivity. You know what I mean? But positivity is right here. Check this out. We'll talk about it.
Everyone can be watching because this is going to happen for each one of you.
It's all hands on deck for Harvard-Kent Elementary 6th graders.
Nice.
As they put the finishing touches on their handcrafted creation.
Everyone has a set of tools. You have a drill and a screwdriver.
The 11 and 12-year-olds drilling, sawing, screwing, and scraping their 10-foot boat together from scratch.
We're just scraping off the stick effects. So if the more we scrape off, the more like the boat can be painted.
Harvard-Kent is one of 2 Boston public schools offering the applied learning experience.
Safety glasses, please.
It's made possible by Massachusetts nonprofit Community Boat Building.
It really helps connect those, academic disciplines to something that's exciting, that's real, that's tangible. They can put their hands on it.
The program takes 6th graders and divides them into groups of 6 to get outdoors and apply what they've learned in the classroom to a hands-on project.
School academics can be so abstract and not very meaningful to a lot of kids because of the stressors in their life.
The organization expects 16 boats to set sail this school year.
Kiara, come on over and tighten that.
Including Kiara's group, who's excited to stretch out their sea legs.
And I've been on a boat, but I've never
rode it yourself?
Yeah, I have faith in my boat.
And this year, 6th graders will launch their boats twice this June. In Charlestown, Danae Bucci, WCVB News Center.
Yo, Fall River School Committee, can we do that here in the city? We got water. We got water right there for the boats. We can teach these kids how to build the boat and put it in the water. Even if they don't ever build a boat again, they learn how to build something. Motor Cop says that is awesome, those kids building a boat. I agree. Now, Flea says, facts, can our kids do that? And Seth says, to even speak in front of people after the trauma of being homeless and believe it's nothing less than that, it's hard to get all of who you used to be back. I hear ya, and I agree. Jose says, I would like to start a business here in the city. Need to do some more research first. Word, that'd be dope. Listen, I'd be all in on it with you, Jose. We could talk about some stuff with promotions and everything. Now, Seth also said building a boat takes some serious skills. Word, and that was a nice fucking boat. They was doing a good job on that. Now, all the positivity, yin and yang, people, up and down, left and right. Guess what? We got some fucked up shit. Check this out. We'll talk about it.
That defendant released on personal recognizance this morning in order to stay away from the alleged victim and the middle school where police say this incident occurred. 36-year-old Rostislav Mativ is charged with open and gross lewdness. Needham police announced the arrest yesterday after what they called a successful investigation centered around an alleged incident from this past Friday where a teenager reported that a man had exposed himself.
There's a lot more facts that'll come out, and I expect when this is all said and done, he'll be exonerated, but it sounded bad in the moment. I really think this is a bad misunderstanding.
Now, no facts of the case were read in court, and Mr. Matveev had no comment after today's arraignment, but he will have to wear a GPS monitor and stay away from the Pollard Middle School. His next court date is scheduled for August 5th. We're live in Dedham District Court. Matt Reed, WCVB News Center 5.
All right, another sick fuck. Another reason why people will eventually get sick and tired of sending their kids to school. You got teachers being accused of this shit. You got kids bullying your kid at school. They're fucking all fights and drugs. There's some boxing strips at Morton. There's all this shit. Teachers allegedly assaulting students at Cuss. I'm telling you, we're going to figure out and tweak remote learning. The next big COVID wave, which, as you seen earlier when we was talking about corona, the numbers is going up again. Now, on some other shit, check this out. We'll talk about it.
Hasbro Children's Hospital's ER is at capacity. Patients are waiting hours to be seen, and doctors need your help to ease the burden. 12 News reporter Chelsea Jones joins us now live with more on just how strained the hospital is. Chelsea?
Shannon, it's been going on for about 2 months, and just within the last couple of days, some patients have had to wait 7 hours just to be seen, and doctors say that they are struggling. This emergency room is over capacity.
In an apartment that has about 30 beds, having 12 waiting to be admitted really cuts down our capacity as far as moving new patients through.
Experts say children are coming in with several sicknesses from COVID to flu, among others. But the high volume has doctors falling behind. Reports of 2 to 3 hour waits are currently normal, and having enough medical personnel is a struggle.
Some staffing challenges that we have in the hospital as far as staffing all of our beds and all of our shifts in the department.
Being the only pediatric emergency department in the region, they're asking that you make a call to your primary care doctor first.
So we're also looking to our colleagues in the community as far as primary care providers to see if maybe they can extend hours.
And with an increase in behavioral health issues in children, places like the ER are tasked with serving those needs in addition to medical emergencies.
Damn. So Hasbro saying before you take your kid who's having a medical emergency to Hasbro, call first. Wow. Now, next video, check it out. We'll talk about it.
Testimony at the State House today on a bill that aims to make abortions more accessible for all Rhode Islanders. More than 100 people lined up to testify on the bill that would provide coverage for the procedure under taxpayer-funded state programs. Right now, there's an abortion coverage ban for those covered under Medicaid, as well as state employees. This bill would repeal that. 12 News reporter Sheena Losciuto joins us from the State House with what those on both sides had to say. Sheena?
Well, right now, those who don't have abortion coverage would potentially have to pay at least hundreds of dollars if they wanted an abortion. And those who support this bill say that only hurts people who are already in desperate financial situations. While those who are against this bill say pro-life taxpayers shouldn't have to pay for something they don't believe in. The bill's sponsors are calling this the Equality in Abortion Act and say about 1/4 of all Rhode Islanders are covered by Medicaid and another 30,000 are state employees, suggesting this impacts a big population. Here's a bit of what lawmakers heard tonight.
I urge my colleagues to resist the temptation to insert the beliefs of a small number of legislators into the exam rooms of a large number of healthcare providers and their patients.
Why are recipients of Medicaid being punished for being poor? Are all women equal, but some more equal than others? This is the crux of the matter. A caste system for the women of Rhode Island is unacceptable.
I came out today because I am pro-life. I've always been pro-life. I just don't see why an elective procedure would need to be paid for by taxpayers.
It was an unnecessary poor tax, a form of moralism forced on the poor that those with means don't have to contend with.
Okay, touchy subject. We talking Roe versus Wade, the abortions. We talking Rhode Island saying, hey, for the ones that can't afford it, taxpayers will pay for it. So people who are pro-life are pissed. They're like, hey, I don't want to pay for this at all. So that will move people around. Some people will leave Rhode Island. But Massachusetts and Rhode Island are usually step in step. And Massachusetts has already said that it will be a sanctuary state for abortions. So whether how you feel on that, that's what's going on with that issue. Now, check this out. We'll talk about it.
Another top story this morning, this again. Gas prices continue to set record highs, but today, prices less than a penny more than they were yesterday, both locally and nationally.
So here's our daily average in Rhode Island. It's now $4.72 a gallon for regular, $4.74 in Massachusetts, and nationwide it is at $4.59 a gallon. The House of Representatives passed a bill last night calling the Consumer Price Gouging Protection Act. It would give the federal government more power to stop energy companies from raising prices excessively.
12 News reporter Kate Walsh joins us live right now with what both parties are saying about this. Kate.
You can imagine many Americans, as we approach the summer and are used to higher gas prices in the summer, are a little bit concerned about if this trend continues, where we'll be at in the summertime with gas prices. We're live at the beach in Narragansett this morning, but we're talking about this bill as well. And the bill was passed largely along party lines, 217 to 207. No Republicans voted for the bill, and in fact, 4 Democrats also were against it. Now, it appears both sides want to help their constituents with the high gas prices, but they have different approaches on how to do it. The act would give the president the power to make it illegal for energy companies to raise prices too high, and the Federal Trade Commission would be allowed to look further into price gouging. But Republicans argued there's no proof that energy companies are price gouging. And one opposing Democrat said this doesn't really address what's causing inflation right now. But a co-sponsor of the bill, Rhode Island Congressman David Cicilline, spoke about the profits energy companies have made this year.
But if these prices were solely based on inflation or supply chain issues, these companies wouldn't be seeing the record profits they've seen in recent months. The real issues are greed, manipulation, and market concentration.
And experts say that the fuel crisis predates the Ukrainian war, though some people have blamed the prices on the crisis in Ukraine. We're live in Narragansett, like I said, so in about 45 minutes time, we'll be back here live talking about the beach and conditions here and what you can expect for this coming weekend. It's supposed to be hot.
All right, so Republicans are saying, no, we'll figure out ways, and, you know, who's to say that they are price gouging? But if you look at the numbers and it says, hey, look at this, well, then maybe you're seeing record profits in the last like 5-6 months. Well, there's a problem there, bro. So let's cap that a little bit. But you don't want to do that because the energy companies lobby for these politicians, donate to their campaigns for them to win these elections and have their back. So it's hard. Now, on some other shit, check this out. We'll talk about it.
Laura, thank you for that. Now to that breaking news we talked about at the top of the show. 10 people shot on Chicago and state, and this morning we've learned 2 of them are dead. Not what we want to wake up to, but this is the news this morning. We have live team coverage. CBS 2's Marissa Power following the ongoing investigation, but we start with CBS 2's Mugu Odigwe, who's live at the scene.
on the near north side to break down how all of this happened. Another large unruly gathering.
Yeah, good morning, guys. This is so sad. We're told the shooting happened outside this McDonald's. Police, paramedics are no longer here, but you can tell this was a very active crime scene. We have seen the window behind the McDonald's. It is broken. We can't really show you that right now, but also on the ground, we saw some of the equipment that paramedics left behind. But take a look at this video, though, because this really gives you a sense of how intense the scene was. This is near State Street and Chicago Avenue. You can see paramedics treating people on the ground there one by one. They place some victims in a stretcher before pulling them into an ambulance. At some point, a fight even broke out between some people at the scene, and police had to step in. Then there's the window at the McDonald's where the shooting happened. Again, as I mentioned, it is shattered. Just a really busy and active scene. According to Chicago police, this shooting happened just after 10:40 last night. Again, 10 people were shot. 2 of them did not survive. One man described seeing other people trying to get away from the scene.
I literally just got home. I walked into my apartment's lobby and I saw 2 girls running in, and they were like crawling on the floor. They looked absolutely terrified. They looked like just traumatized, honestly.
So 10 people shot. You've seen the videos of the fights. Guns everywhere, people. People are violent. Mental health is out of control. Mental health classes from kindergarten to senior year train everybody who deals with the public, anybody in retail, anybody in sales, anybody in customer service. Train them with mental health. Because school shootings, mass shootings, all of this shit starts with mental health. But we need something to know when like a mass shooting's happening. That way you don't get caught up in the mix. Check this out. We'll talk about it.
And in the wake of last Saturday's deadly mass shooting in Buffalo, Rhode Island Congressman David Cicilline is trying to renew interest in a bill that would create an Amber Alert-like system to notify communities about active shooter events. 12 News reporter Alexandra Leslie joins us now with more details about the bill and what support is already behind the legislation. Alex?
Well, Congressman Cicilline says the bill would provide law enforcement with technology to send life-saving notifications to smartphones using resources already in place at the federal level. Both he and some Republican lawmakers helped to craft this legislation with law enforcement's help. In the last 6 weeks, active shooting events have made headlines in California, Washington, D.C., and most recently when a gunman opened fire outside a grocery store in Buffalo, New York.
In every single shooting, it was law enforcement running to the scene to apprehend the shooter, to help victims, and to keep the surrounding community safe.
This is in part why Congressman David Cicilline introduced the Active Shooter Alert Bill. It would create an Amber Alert-like program for active shooter incidents. The bill is backed by several major law enforcement organizations, including the Rhode Island Police Chiefs Association.
This type of alert system we're talking about today would be far more efficient and can also provide updates to the community in situations that would be otherwise impossible to communicate in the midst of an active shooting threat.
On top of that, the bill would appoint a coordinator within the Department of Justice to offer federal training, tech support, and best practices to local and state law enforcement to improve or implement systems in their communities.
We're not infringing on anyone's constitutional rights, but we are using resources that are already available at the federal and state level and giving the permission and resources to law enforcement and to states to implement this kind of system that acts just like an Amber Alert system and can and will save lives.
The bill would also allow for a federal study on state and local responses to active shooters and other situations that would require a public alert or warning to be issued.
All right, so yes, past that. We get the Amber Alerts, we can get the shooter alerts. You get weather alerts. Makes sense, right? You got the technology there, help save lives by doing it. Now, in the comments, there's a lot going on about the pro-life, pro-choice topic. Like I've said publicly on this show before, it honestly doesn't affect me in the least. I do not have a vagina, so I do not have a say because I will never get pregnant. I believe whatever the woman wants to do with her body for whatever reason is her choice, because I can't make that decision because I would never be in that position. So, like, I don't know what's going on with the mental health, so I can't say anything. Now, Sherry asked if they have the shot callers on the telephone poles in Fall River. They have them there. There was a few in the city a few years ago, but there was reports that they took multiple of them down because they weren't working properly. They were alerting for shots when there wasn't shots. So, I don't know. Motor Cop says those shot spotters are a great tool. And Jose Santiago says he agrees with the alert. Absolutely. It only makes sense. Now, all of that negative shit out the way. Wrapping this up with nothing but positive. 3 quick more videos. But they're all helpful and interesting. I was talking about the events this Saturday. Tomorrow, you got the block party on 45 Rock Street, the old courthouse over there, right on the corner of Rock and Bedford. They shutting the street down, and free music, free food, entertainment, arts and crafts stuff for the kids. 2 blocks away on North Main at 104 North Main Street at the public library. You got Comic Con. And tomorrow at noon at Kennedy Park, you got the vintage bike and car show with music, food, arts and crafts for the kids. There'll be break dancers there, bunch of entertainment, so go check that out. But here's a video on some Comic Con shit. Check this out. We'll talk about it.
Hey everyone, this is your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. I swung into the Fall River Public Library to tell you about something really fun that's happening here at the library on May 21st. And I'm going to be joined by my friends here at the Fall River Public Library on May 21st from 11 to 1. There's going to be raffles, games, and other superheroes, including us, to be able to meet and take pictures. Hope to see you there.
So you see all the characters that'll be there. So that's what's going to be happening at the library. Now, you like animals? A lot of people like animals. They love animals. Love animals. Now, hold on. Let me get to the comments. Motor Cop says, Aaron got me wanting to visit Fall River. Please do. Please do. We got a lot up here. Some people hate it up here, but there's shit that goes on in every city. And we've got restaurants that have been on the Food Channel. Battleship Cove right behind me, the largest collection of naval ships in the country. I mean, you could sleep on the ship. You have the only municipality building, which is City Hall, over an interstate in the entire country. You know, a lot. I mean, Sherry Cadero says, I love my city, trying to move back. And Fall River, born and raised, you know. Now, but back to the pets. People love pets. Cats, dogs, animals. Love it. You know what I mean? Got me a cat Batman. That's my guy. Now, speaking of cats and dogs, check this out. We'll talk about it.
Welcome to Hot Dogs and Cool Cats. We're here today with Maeve. She's a 2-year-old calico. She is very friendly, and she's very talkative. She loves attention. When you come in here first thing in the morning, all she does is talk. She's a very sweet girl. She likes to play. She loves attention. She can be a little nervous in the beginning, but she comes around fairly quickly. She'd do well in a home with probably no dogs. She'd do well in a home with another cat. Probably no little kids, but you know, maybe 6, 7 and up would be good for her. She wants to roam around. She likes to explore. If you want to come down and meet Maeve, come down to 300 Linwood Street, Forever Paws. Please call and make an appointment, and you can come in and meet Maeve.
This is Octavia. She's a 3-year-old Roddy. She is a big girl. She's about 78 pounds. She can be very playful at times. She is a bit of a goofball. She's good with other dogs. Cats she's not good with. She doesn't do the best with them. She is an owner surrender. She will be best with children over 12 due to her hyperness. She likes to go on her walks. She loves outside. She's definitely a different dog when she's outside. If you want to come down and meet Octavia, she's located at Forever Paws. You can just fill out an application online and give us a call to make an appointment. I'm sure she'd love to meet you.
All right, so go hit up Forever Paws. Tell them the Fall River Experience sent you. They'll look at you a little bit better. And tell them you've seen on the Hot Dogs and Cats of the Week. Now, people, there's a lot of movement in careers. We're going through the great resignation where a lot of people are saying, fuck this. I want to change my job. I want to look for something that pays better. I'm tired of being here. People are getting more in tune with their mental health and like, you know what? This job sucks. I want something better. So if you're looking for a job, check this out. It's the Hot Jobs of the Week. Check it out. We'll talk about it.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center. Call Center Reservations Associate. Marriott International, located at 1630 President Avenue, seeks a full-time call center reservations associate to serve guests from around the world, creating an effortless experience by answering questions about property facilities, services, and room accommodations. Job number 168-10443. Licensed practical nurse, Cavallo Grove Health and Rehab, located at 273 Oak Grove Avenue, is looking for a full-time licensed practical nurse responsible for delivering care to residents and patients, utilizing the nursing process of assessment, planning, intervention, implementation, and evaluation. Job number 168-09831. Shop Assembler, Pella Corporation, located at 1324 Airport Road, is seeking a full-time shop assembler to assemble windows and doors into composites, apply casing, make window frames to meet customer order requirements. Job number 168-09642. Pharmacist, Walgreens, located at 328 Rhode Island Avenue, is looking for a full-time pharmacist. For more information, call 508-324-9490. Henry Lord Community School, located at 151 Amity Street, has an immediate need for the following full and part-time positions. Grade 1 paraprofessional, job number 168-09981. Special education teacher, job number 168-09974. For more information about these or other positions, visit Mass Hire JobQuest at jobquest.dcs.eol.mass.gov or call the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
All right, that was some jobs. LPM, shop assembler, special needs teacher at Henry Lord, pharmacist, bunch of things. Call specialist for Marriott. That job's most likely remote. Now, that was the Hot Jobs of the Week. Go check them out at Mass Hire. Now, as always, please, everybody, share this to your news feed. Share this to groups. Share this to your like page if you got one. If you share this to your like page, I will like and follow your page back. Speaking of liking and following, make sure you like and follow the Fall River Experience Facebook page. Also, subscribe to the Fall River Experience YouTube channel. Share this to your Facebook stories. Tag people in the comments. Tag people in a post. Send it to them in Messenger. Let's run these views up. Run these shares up. I appreciate it. Much love and respect as always. Now, I start and end every episode with community resource informational videos such as soup kitchen, food pantry information, childcare, and emergency care services. If you, a friend, a family member, a loved one need any of these resources, don't be ashamed to utilize them. That's what they are there for. So if you know somebody needs this, just send them the video. Be like, hey, there's info here that you might need. Bang. All of that. Now, that being said, if you are a local artist, musician, a small business owner, you want to get your business, your product, or your services promoted, contact me, Aaron All-Nighter, for sponsorship packages starting as little as $10 per episode, $40 for the week. Sponsorship packages vary, but they include graphic design, logo work, custom merchandise, Just a Kid from Fall River line, video editing, voiceovers, podcasts, interviews, and more. Just hit me up. We'll talk business. All of that out of the way. I hope everybody has a great Friday. If you're getting paid today, budget properly. Gas is up. Inflation's crazy. Don't spend money on dumb shit if you don't need to. You know, people, be good. Take care of each other. Stay positive. Do the right thing. Don't stab nobody. Don't shoot nobody. Don't touch nobody. Drive safe. Don't get high if you're getting high normally. Just be good to everybody. I mean, mind your business. Don't hate on the next person. And just do what the fuck you gotta do. I can't say it enough, everybody. Love all y'all for tuning in. I appreciate it. Have a good day. Be good. I'll see you guys here Monday at 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. Have a good weekend, everybody. Forever, you know, I'm off this.
Everybody up the hill! Everybody up the hill! Everybody up the hill!
Aaron All-Nighter. Aaron All-Nighter. Big salute to you. I wanted to give Aaron All-Nighter a shout out at the beginning of the show, and I'm glad you brought that up. We all forgot about what we just did. Nah, we didn't forget. It was just like Sandro D was here, and he had a lot to say. Yeah, about bees on his head. Fucking bees and fucking
bees on my head, but don't call me a bee.
Yo, what? How do you know about Andy Melanakis? I got cheese on my head, but don't call me a cheesehead. Aaron All-Nighter is one of the biggest supporters for anybody that's like doing something positive.
If you're bored at work and you want to watch him, I watch him every day when I'm bored at work. Monday through Friday, I get a good laugh while I'm at work.
Every weekday.
I actually call him at work too.
Yeah, 8:30 to 10. 8:30 to 10.
I think 8:30 to 10:30. Get it right.
I don't know if it's, well, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's 8:30 to 10 because I looked it up before I
think it's 10:30, but maybe I'm wrong.
Stop it, Rizzo. Stop it. Aaron All-Nighter, 8:30 to 10.
I'm saying 10:30, Aaron.
Monday through Friday. Watch that show.
Local's your number one fan.
The show is called The Fall River Experience. It's on Facebook.
Is that? I thought it was Espresso.
See?
What the hell was you thinking?
What the hell was you thinking?